talk is by Alex, and he brings us to space, the key to a calm mind. Thank you, Alex.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you. And thank you, Wesley, for the wonderful presentation that wanted me to change everything I wanted to talk about. You gave great input.
Oh, you go ahead.
Yes, yes. So it will be very impromptu. H.P. Blavatsky in The Secret Doctrine, in the poem on page 14, and this is just my simple understanding. It gives the whole plot away in 2 words. In the third full paragraph, when she tries to explain, beingness, explain that which is unexplainable, she uses 2 words: absolute abstract space and absolute abstract motion. That's the whole mystery of samsara and nirvana and beyond. When we talk about absolute abstract space, and she says it's just bare subjectivity, something that it's present everywhere, you could say that the companion of absolute abstract space is all-pervasiveness. And then we ask ourselves, may I identify within myself that which is all-pervasive? That's the process of meditation, inquiring into the ultimate nature of reality. And connected with what Wes was talking about, the aspect of all-pervasiveness is maha-karuna, great compassion, which manifests in our world as kind activities, charity, the 6 paramitas, or 7 in the voice. But maha-karuna, the great compassion, has the aspect of unimpededness, unobstructedness. The quality of compassion is called in Tibetan zangtal, which means pellucidity. I mean, these are 50-cent words, I understand, in English. Pellucidity, transparency, absence of obstruction. Nothing can obstruct it. Zang is composed by 2 words, zang and tal. So zang means non-attachment to words, and tal means penetrative, something that is absolutely penetrative because it's unobstructed. So that's the idea of this absolute abstract space cosmically manifests as maha-karuna, the great compassion. Now, individually, this aspect of absolute abstract space manifests in those individuals in which the barriers of self and other have dropped. And that's why we say that the companion of absolute abstract space is all-pervasiveness, the all-pervasiveness of the aspect of great compassion. And that connects us with the other aspect, which is our indissolubly non-dual, absolute abstract space, absolute abstract motion. So space has a core of vidya, which is pristine awareness. She calls it in the Secret Doctrine unconditioned consciousness. And that is the aspect of this motion, which is not emotion, but we don't have better words for it. It's what the ancient used to call yeshe keilung, Yeshe Keilung. That is Yeshe, primordial consciousness, Jnana, right, in Sanskrit. Keilung, Jnana Prana, or Yeshe Keilung, is the energy or the motion of primordial consciousness. Primordial consciousness is not something dead, static, but is something that is brimming with energy, creativity. That's the source of all our creativity, the source of all the manifestation in the cosmos. So this absolute abstract space brims with energy and cognition. So that's the aspect of this absolute abstract motion, the constant, cognizant, empty clarity that arises from that space indissolubly with the aspect of primordial consciousness. So now this is the aspect from the point of view of cosmology, you know, this immensity of the cosmos in which we are. Now, going back to what Wesley was talking about earlier, you know, that the, you know, scientists, you know, the great problem, you know, between consciousness and matter in the ancient time was resolved. Why was it resolved? Because the ancient were using samadhi. Samadhi is the technology by which the mystery of the mind are resolved. Unfortunately, nowadays, our scientists don't have samadhi. They have great technology, particle accelerators that cost millions and millions of dollars, but they're missing the samadhi that reveals the mystery of mind. Because the more you analyze the brain, you don't find the mind. And the more you investigate the mind, you don't find the brain. Because something that is absolutely physical, how can it connect with something that is absolutely metaphysical? And the linking point that's the ancient had discovered, and this is all the change that I'm doing in what I was supposed to say, is the anatomy of cognition. That's what the great yogis had discovered, what is called the anatomy of cognition and the anatomy of awakening. The anatomy of cognition is, Blavatsky hints to it. She doesn't give a lot of explanation, but she does hint to it, is what is called the sukshma sharira. There's a whole aspect in our nature. And if we can go to the next slide, because it's connected with our practices, there's a whole aspect in our nature that is absolutely subtle and is a network of nadis, very subtle nadis that constitute the platform on which the waking of the mind occurs. So the ancient had discovered this trinity that they call Tsa, Lung, Tikle. Tsal, nadi, channels, Lung, prana or vayu, the wind, and Tikle, bindu, which is the essential nature of mind. The Secret Doctrine begins with that, begins with a circle and a dot. The dot is a bindu, and that huge circle represents exactly the space in which that dot manifests cosmically, but that dot resides in the heart of every sentient being, that indestructible bindu at the heart. That is the key that will unveil the mystery of samsara and nirvana for each one of us. So that's why the great Longchenpa, one of the greatest teachers of Dzogchen in Tibet, called the omniscient Buddha, gives these incredible teachings here for practitioners. You know, this is, you know, for those who practice the teachings, this is an incredible, they call it upadesha, which means pointing out instructions. There are instructions that they're pointing out the ultimate nature of your mind, so that when you meditate, when you practice, you have pointing out instructions that will reveal that which for science is a mystery. So we begin, the location of space is the heart. So how does he know that? And why do the all great yogis talk about the importance of the heart, including Blavatsky? Because through, as she tells us in the Secret Doctrine, for millennia, the great yogis didn't teach. They spent time in investigating, and then comparing. And then when they came to a solution through something that was acceptable, then became a teaching. So this is the location of space, is the heart, through the practice that, we explained earlier, the profound states of samadhi, they uncover this mystery because the element of space abides in the heart. So that's a Upadesha inviting the student, if he's inclined to meditate. Some people may not, so that's okay. Samadhi is not obligatory. Each one, is free to do whatever they want on the spiritual path. There's no samadhi police here. So you discover within yourself, let's say you enter into a state of meditative equipoise, right? And then you start uncovering within yourself a dimension of your nature that is unborn and unceasing. And that dimension of your nature is felt, not in the gut, not in the brain, not in the ears, but usually is felt in the center of your body, located in that area. And that is something that we start to uncover within ourselves through the practice. And then he tells us, so he gives us three things here: location, path, and then how to engage. Okay? So the location, the first thing we have to, no, we don't have to, but if we wish to identify is the location of space within ourselves. And then through this process, we uncover that the path of space is wind, the vayu. But what kind of vayu? Is the wisdom wind, is the vayu of wisdom. The wisdom that resides already in our heart, but it doesn't come out spontaneously. As we find also in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, you'll discover that this knowledge will spring up spontaneously from within you. And that's the wind, this absolute abstract motion residing in the heart of every sentient being. And that absolute abstract motion will manifest through the aspect of wisdom wind. It's called wisdom wind because it contributes to dissolve the conceptual superimposition that the mind tends to do on everything that it attaches to. We attach to everything and then we superimpose. Going back to what Wesley said earlier, one of the things that the quantum physics say, they say, before measurement, the cosmos is in a state of superimposition. What does it mean to be in a state of superimposition? We cannot say anything about it. It's a state of pure potentiality. But the moment there is measurement, boom, the moment you have measurement, you have the equation collapses and you have either a particle or a wave. So the yogis didn't use this language. They didn't use measurement, but they used conceptual superimposition. So before we conceptually superimpose our designations on anything, the state of cosmos, the state of our nature is in a state of pure potentiality. But the moment we designate self and other, car, computer, everything is a series of labels. As soon as we designate, the equation collapses. The equation of space and motion collapses into the manifestation of everything that we designate. So the wind The wisdom wind keeps the mind from collapsing into a series of labels and maintains the mind into a state of unimpeded pellucidity, that transparency that is all-pervasive and omniscient. As the text says, so pure cognition appears as light. So that is pure cognition. What does it mean, pure cognition? It's a cognition that is now sullied by conceptual superimposition. In Theosophy, we talk about preconceived ideas. You know, all the Blavatsky calls it the heresy of separation in the voice of the silent. So that's what we start to uncover within ourselves. We start to uncover the location and then the path by which space will manifest through that absolute abstract motion, which is the wind, this wisdom wind that dissolves upon arising. As soon as the appearances arise in the, let's say, the waters of space, by using the language of the Secret Doctrine, as soon appearances arise in the water of space, the cognition is so pure that recognize that they're self-arisen. They're not arising out there, they're arising from within us, but we don't recognize that. So we've entered into a bifurcation of self and other. But the wisdom wind allows us to realize that everything that arises is self-arisen from within the ocean of space that resides in the heart of every sentient being. And then the last part is engage within the genuine essence of spontaneous presence. So now we're going to go into the world. Okay, so we bring the world into the meditation by realizing that everything is self-arisen. And then we bring our meditation into the world by engaging with, in every relationship, you start engaging from the perspective of the genuine essence and not from the perspective of self and other. So now you, at this level of realization, you weave relationships that arise from the crystal mandala shining within the heart, and that will manifest in a spontaneous presence. What does it mean, spontaneous presence? It's uncontrived. It's a presence that arises spontaneously from the luminosity of the crystal mandala that is absolutely empty of self and other. The heresy of separation has been, quote unquote, broken. And the reality reveals itself in a dance of spontaneous presence in which the empty clarity of the luminous nature of pristine awareness is the display of everything that we perceive. Okay, if you don't like what I said, it's Wesley's fault. Because he made me change everything on the spot. I'm kidding.
Yeah, thank you.